All right, let's get started already. And thank you for still staying tuned. It's Newspaper Review, EBI-NLA 102.3 FM, this lovely Wednesday morning. Okay, we get started from the Daily Trust newspaper today, where we have this headline that says the federal government approves 4.2 billion naira for TED Fund research projects, innovation hubs. The federal government has approved a grant of 4.2 billion naira to fund 158 research projects across Nigerian tertiary institutions under the 2024 cycle of the Tertiary Education Trust Fund, TET Fund, National Research Fund. The approval followed recommendations by the TET Fund National Research Fund Screening and Monitoring Committee after a rigorous evaluation of 6,944 submitted concept notes from researchers nationwide. According to a statement released on Tuesday by the Director of Public Affairs, Abdul Mumin Uniagi, on behalf of the Executive Secretary, Sonny Echono, that disbursement covers three thematic areas. And this was approved for science, engineering, technology and innovation, humanities and social science, while cross-cutting research projects also received a substantial sum. Leading institutions include the Federal University of Technology, Mina, with 15 awards worth 400 million naira, Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, with 13 awards worth more than 300 million naira, and the Federal University of Technology, Akure, receiving more than 300 million naira for 12 research initiatives. Pick up the Daily Trust today and read more on that story. Okay, let's get into political stories. And we have this that says APC will retain power in 2027, says Uzodimma. The All Progressives Congress (APC) would retain power in 2027 with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's re-election in Imo State, Governor Hope Uzodimma said yesterday. According to him, on the political landscape, there are only APC and the others. Uzodimma spoke on the strength of the party when he visited the Muhammadu Buhari House APC National Secretariat in Abuja to inspect its Information Communication Technology (ICT) and data center ahead of the membership e-registration. He said the claim by the African Democratic Congress (ADC) that it would be a disastrous one for the APC to remain in power beyond 2027 is false. Accompanied by his Kogi State counterpart Usman Ododo, the Imo State governor said the comment was a mere utterance that cannot hold water. Uzodimma said despite the gang up by the opposition, APC has continued to be more united, advanced in technology, and growing in popularity across the country. The PGF chairman expressed satisfaction with the level of preparedness for the digital membership drive. Uzodimma hailed the choice of Professor Nentawale Yiltwada as the national chairman, assuring that he will live up to expectation. APC will retain power in 2027. The Nation newspaper has that story. Pick it up to read more on that story. Still talking APC and 2027, still from the Nation newspaper today. 2027, Tinubu will have landslide victory, says Swagger. A socio-political group, the Southwest Agenda for Ashiwaju Swagger, yesterday said that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will have a landslide victory in the 2027 general election. Swagger said it had been vindicated by the achievements of the president across the various sectors of the economy, adding that he has lived up to expectations. Addressing reporters in Lagos on the group's second mission, its leader, Prince Dayo Adeyeye, said there is no obstacle on the president's path to winning a second term. Accompanied by other chieftains of the group, including Bosun Oladele, Adetilewa Shijuade, Julius Oloro, Muniru Akim Abiodun, and Deji Jakonde, the Swagger leader said it was evident that Nigerians' vote for President Tinubu in 2023 was not in vain. Adeyeye dismissed the tricks of rival aspirants while wooing Nigerians with a one-term promise, describing such politicians as jesters. The Swagger leader also faulted the argument of those he called subjective observers who think the North would not vote for the president in 2027. He said those peddling the falsehood are not in tune with reality, stressing that the political atmosphere in the north shows that President Tinubu would be re-elected. Tinubu will have landslide victory, says Swagger, as reported in the Nation newspaper today. All right, from there, let's get into the Daily Trust newspaper today, and we are taking the story, and it is coming from the Daily Trust, and it is about Peter Obi. Yeah, Obi have never rigged an election or sponsored violence. Let's take the story. Presidential candidate of Labour Party in the 2023 general election, Peter Obi, has claimed that he has never engaged in electoral malpractice, violence, or any form of political misconduct throughout his career. In an X post on Tuesday, Obi reiterated his commitment to clean and principled politics, urging anyone with evidence of wrongdoing against him to come forward. He said, and I quote, "Throughout my political journey, I have never been involved in thuggery, the snatching of ballot boxes, or any form of electoral malpractice. I challenge anyone. Conduct your investigations. You will find no stains of rigging or violence associated with my name." End of quote. Obi, a former governor of Anambra State, said he has always maintained respect for his political opponents, ensuring that no one who contested against him was subjected to defamation or denied their rights. He said again, and I quote, "Ask those who have contested against me. None were ever denied their rights, framed, or falsely accused. None was forced to break the bank or run their campaigns or mount their advert materials. I believe in fair competition, not manufactured victories." End of quote. Reaffirming his stance that a single presidential term is enough to transform Nigeria, Obi said the uproar generated by his one-term pledge reflects widespread skepticism about honest leadership. Okay, more on that story is from the Daily Trust today, and it says, Peter Obi, "I have never rigged an election or sponsored violence." Pick up the Daily Trust newspaper and you will see that story. Okay, still serving you stories. Let's move over to the next one. 2027, Ogun PDP affirms support for Tinubu. It is also in the Nation newspaper. Yes, today, Ogun PDP affirms support for Tinubu. Let's have a read of that story. The Ogun State chapter of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, has clarified that its recent endorsement of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is strictly for his 2027 re-election bid and not an endorsement of Governor Dakpo Abiodun or the All Progressives Congress APC candidate in the August 16 Remo Federal Constituency by-election. In a statement issued on Tuesday, PDP Publicity Secretary Architect Kayode Adebayo said efforts by individuals believed to be loyal to Governor Abiodun to misrepresent the party's position were deliberate attempts to mislead the public. Adebayo emphasized that the endorsement of Tinubu should not be misconstrued as support for the APC's candidate in the forthcoming by-election, insisting that the PDP remains firmly behind its candidate, Asiwaju Bolarinwa Oluwole. He accused the APC of twisting the narrative surrounding the PDP's campaign flag off, saying it was a desperate attempt to distract from Governor Abiodun's alleged poor performance and waning popularity in the state. 2027, Ogun PDP affirms support for Tinubu. It's in the Nation newspaper today. And we're still taking political stories from Ogun. We travel to Osun, where the Osun State Governor Ademola Adeleke is saying, "I'm attending Davido's wedding in Lagos. Join me." Adeleke replies APC. Osun Governor Ademola Adeleke has confirmed that he traveled to attend the wedding of his nephew, Afrobeat star David Adedeji, Davido, in the United States of America. He was reacting to concerns by the All Progressives Congress APC over his absence from the state for 2 weeks. APC Through its Director of Media and Information, Chief Kola Olabisi, in a statement held that Adeleke disappeared from the state after his plan to defect failed. Olabisi stated that Adeleke's unexplained absence is troubling and unacceptable for a sitting governor, insisting that the people of Osun deserve to know the whereabouts of their chief executive. APC spokesman further recalled a similar incident early in Adeleke's administration, during which the governor was absent for an extended period. He criticized Adeleke's style of leadership, saying it is absolutely wrong and disrespectful for the governor to sneak out of the government house without informing the people. He said this lack of transparency raises serious questions about accountability and governance in Osun State. But Adeleke, through his spokesperson Olawale Rashid, confirms that he left Nigeria for Davido's wedding. He noted that from the November 2022 till date, the governor has not gone on official vacation, stating he chose to make it a short one to continually attend to crucial state functions. It's in the Nation newspaper today, and the story is titled, "I'm attending Davido's wedding in the US. Join me." Adeleke replies APC. All right, still from the Daily Trust newspaper, we have this that says, crisis hits Kogi ADC as factions trade suspensions. A fresh crisis has erupted within the Kogi State chapter of the African Democratic Congress ADC as rival factions of the party's leadership have suspended each other over alleged anti-party activities and internal disagreements. The Kogi State Working Committee SWC of the ADC, during its meeting on Monday in Lokoja, reaffirmed the suspension of key members of the party, including the only elected ADC lawmaker in the country, Honorable Leke Abejide, who represents Yagba Federal Constituency. The state secretary of the party, John Adaji, announced the decision while addressing journalists in Lokoja. He said Abejide and four others, Idris Omede, Honorable Johnson Tayo, Lukman Usman Adedayo, and Olabode Kayode, were suspended with immediate effect for alleged anti-party activities and insubordination. He said the suspension, effective from Monday, 4th August, was unanimously endorsed by the State Working Committee. The suspended members have been directed to appear before the party's National Working Committee next Monday at the party's National Secretariat in Abuja for further disciplinary action. Adaji also said the SWC has passed a vote of confidence in the leadership of the state chairman, Honorable Kingsley Temitope Oga, and himself as the state secretary. However, in a swift counter, another faction of the party's SWC convened a separate meeting at Lily Hotel, Lokoja, and reaffirmed the expulsion of Kingsley Oga, describing his purported return to the party as a figment of his own imagination. Addressing reporters at the meeting, the factional state public relations officer Johnson Tayo stated that Oga had been expelled from the party since 2022, starting from his ward to the local government area, a decision ratified by the State Executive Council. He also stated that the faction does not recognize the national level ADC coalition movement, saying it does not reflect the will of the party's members in Kogi. Crisis hit ADC as factions trade suspensions. That's from the Daily Trust newspaper this morning. All right, still trading stories. Here we move to the ADC also, but here it's coming from the PDP, maybe more of an attack. It says 2027 PDP wing OB shows its decline. The African Democratic Congress (ADC) has mocked the People's Democratic Party (PDP) over reports of ongoing efforts to woo Peter Obi, describing the move as evidence of how far the former ruling party has fallen. The National Publicity Secretary of the ADC, Malam Bolaji Abdullahi, stated that it was laughable that the PDP, once a dominant force in Nigerian politics, was now begging for candidates all over the place. A situation, he said, underscored the party's declining influence. He said, and I quote, "If the PDP is truly wing Peter Obi, that tells you how the party has degenerated," Abdullahi told Daily Trust in an interview. All right, and Obi, the presidential candidate of the Labour Party in the 2023 election, is also a prominent member of the ADC-led opposition coalition. His name has resurfaced in recent weeks following public statements by top PDP figures suggesting he should consider returning to their fold. Among those making overtures is former Information Minister Professor Jerry Gana, while the chairman of the PDP Governors Forum and Bauchi State Governor Bala Muhammad had earlier expressed readiness to work with Obi, describing him as the de facto opposition leader. But Abdullahi dismissed the efforts, insisting Obi has not withdrawn from the coalition and understands the destructive internal dynamics of the PDP. Okay, let's get the rest of that story from the Daily Trust newspaper. 2027 PDP wing Obi shows its decline. ADC. All right, we turn back to the Nation newspaper, still taking political stories. 2027 performance should determine the re-election, says Ondo Senator Ikpin Shagba. As political alignments begin to take shape ahead of the 2027 general elections, the senator representing Ondo North Senatorial District, Jide Ikpin Shagba, has said that lawmakers seeking re-election should be assessed based on their performance and contributions to their constituencies. Speaking with journalists in Akure, the Ondo State capital, Senator Ikpin Shagba emphasized that the true measure of a senator's worth lies in the impact made through legislative work and constituency interventions. The senator, who chairs the Senate Committee on Public Affairs, also threw his weight behind the stance of the ruling All Progressives Congress (APC) that ruled out automatic tickets for lawmakers in the 2027 elections. It debunked reports suggesting that the party had concluded plans to grant automatic return tickets to serving members of the National Assembly. Ikpin Shagba's position aligned with a statement issued in June by the APC National Publicity Secretary Felix Morka, who dismissed reports about automatic tickets for the National Assembly members as false, although Morka did not rule out the possible considerations in the future. 2027 performance should determine re-election, says Ondo Senator Ikpin Shagba. ADC chairman want INEC to resist illegal change of leadership, coming from the Nation newspaper also. Concerned state chairman of the African Democratic Congress (ADC) has urged the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) to resist any pressure to recognize what it called any illegal change of leadership in the party. The chairman, at a briefing in Abuja, condemned the orchestrated political coup allegedly being perpetrated by the coalition led by Senator David Mark and others, led by Elias Adoku and Godwin Laku as publicity secretary. The group said the clandestine and unconstitutional hijack of the party, orchestrated through manipulation and backdoor dealings, represent not only a desperate power grab but also an aberration of democratic norms and a grave assault on the collective political values as a nation. The concerned ADC state chairman views this attempted takeover as an insult to all those who believe in and have labored for democratic governance in Nigeria. They said it is illegal, illegitimate, and unacceptable. Their objective is to fracture the democratic process using selfish ambition and extra party inducements to destroy a political platform they neither built nor believe in. ADC chairmen want INEC to resist illegal change of leadership. Pick up the Nation newspaper today and read more on that story. It's 25 minutes before the hour of 10. This is EBI-NLA Radio 102.3 FM, and we're glad you are still tuned listening to us today. And this is Newspaper Review. We're midway into the show and time to change gear and bring you some other stories. That is, we're moving away from politics, at least in the now, because we have so much political stories, but indeed we have other stories too from Nigerian dailies that will definitely catch your fancy. So let's turn to the Punch newspaper this morning, and we have quite a few of those stories that I think will catch your fancy on the program today. This one says, WAEC disowns school list in 192,000 withheld results scandal. The West African Examinations Council has dissociated from a viral list of 151 secondary schools whose candidates' results for the May-June 2025 West African Senior Certificate Examinations have been withheld. WAEC had on Monday announced the results of the 2025 WASC, where the results of 192,000 candidates amounting to 9.75% were declared as being withheld over alleged involvement in various forms of examination malpractice. The viral letter dated August 4, 2025, titled Urgent Notice to the Following Secondary Schools Regarding Withheld Results, at the Director, Examination Malpractice and Irregularities, WAEC Nigeria, Dr. Florence Ajayi, as signatory. It held that the results of the candidates of the listed schools were withheld over their alleged involvement in examination malpractice, asking the principals of the schools mentioned to report to the WAEC Lagos Zonal Office within 10 working days. However, WAEC, via its official handle at WAEC Nigeria, on Tuesday said the list should be ignored as it did not emanate from its official handles. WAEC the statement from WAEC read, kindly ignore any statement listing schools whose results were supposedly cancelled. Meanwhile, WAEC will never ask any center to bring scripts of candidates to the office. Where will they get them from? Do not accept any message that is not from our handles and accredited media. WAEC disowns school list in 192,000 withheld results scandal. That's from the Punch newspaper today. And the next story is coming from the Nation newspaper. It says Senator Tinubu donates 1 billion naira materials to Niger disaster victims. The First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, yesterday donated 1 billion naira, 2,000 bags of rice, clothes, shoes, and other relief materials to victims of natural disasters and insecurity across Niger State. The donation, which the First Lady made through our Renewed Hope initiative, was presented to victims of flood, bandit attacks, boat mishaps, and fire outbreaks across the state. Mrs. Tinubu made a donation at the government house in Mina, where she was received by Niger State Governor Muhammad Umar Bago and other members of the State Executive Council. The First Lady said the donation was part of RHI's commitment to restoring dignity and hope to displaced Nigerians. She directed that the 1 billion naira cash be used to provide accommodation and major essentials to enable the displaced families get back to their feet, earn a good living, and live a better life. Let's get the story today. If we will turn to the Nation newspaper, it says Senator Tinubu donates 1 billion naira materials to Niger disaster victims. All right, the next story says Kano Transport Commissioner resigns over drug bill controversy from the Daily Trust newspaper. The Kano State Commissioner for Transportation, Ibrahim Ali Namadi, has resigned hours after Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf received the report of the investigative committee probing his involvement in the controversial bail of a suspected drug baron, Suleiman Aminu Danwawu. According to the governor's spokesperson, Sanuti Bature Dawakin Tofa, the commissioner said his decision was made in overriding public interest, considering the sensitivity of the matter. He said, and I quote, "As a member of an administration that has consistently championed the fight against the sale and consumption of illicit drugs, it behoves me to take this step, painful as it may be. While I maintain my innocence, I cannot ignore the weight of public perception and the need to protect the values we have collectively built." End of quote. Namadi expressed appreciation to Governor Yusuf for the opportunity to serve and reaffirmed his loyalty to the administration's principles of good governance and responsible leadership. Governor Yusuf accepted the resignation and wished the former commissioner success in his future endeavors. The governor also advised all political appointees to act with caution on sensitive matters and always seek clearance from appropriate authorities before engaging in actions of public interest. Secretary to the State Government Umar Farouk Ibrahim had presented a probe report during a formal meeting at the Government House. He outlined key findings based on the committee's review of material evidence and witness testimonies. Okay. Key findings of the investigative committee involve voluntary surety application, as the commissioner voluntarily applied to serve as a surety for the defendant on July 18, 2025. He submitted an affidavit confirming his position as a serving commissioner and pledged to comply with all bail conditions. The commissioner was aware of the court's bail conditions, which required a serving commissioner to stand as a surety, and he failed to exercise adequate caution before taking the decision, despite the gravity of the charges. Okay. Kano Transport Commissioner resigns over drug bill controversy. It's in the Daily Trust newspaper today. Let's turn back to the Nation newspaper. We have this that says Lekki Ikorodu residents get flood relocation notice. If you live in lowland areas of Lagos, this advice from the state government is for you. Relocate to highlands to avoid being a victim of flooding. Such areas are parts of Lekki, Ikorodu, and Ajegunle, where the government said yesterday will experience flash floods this year. Persons living in Isheri in the Opik area were enjoined to be on alert. The advice came just as data posted by the National Emergency Management Agency on its dashboard showed that 191 lives have already been lost to floods in 20 states this year. So, I will also say, if you're traveling to Lagos, be careful of the lowland areas of Lagos because the flood alert is still so much, valid. There will be flooding in parts of Nigeria this year, and hopefully, those concerned will be able to take necessary precaution. And from the Punch, federal government constructing 6,112 homes in the north, says the minister. The federal government is currently constructing 6,112 housing units across northern states, including the Federal Capital Territory, Kano, Benue, and other states under the Renewed Hope Housing Program. This was revealed by the Minister of Housing and Urban Development, Ahmed Dangiwa, during a recent interactive session in Kaduna, as contained in a statement released by the Ministry of Information and National Orientation on Tuesday. Dangiwa stated that the projects are part of the current administration's broader vision to use housing as a catalyst for job creation, economic empowerment, and social stability. According to him, the Renewed Hope City in Kasana, FCT, comprises 3,112 housing units, while Kano is hosting 1,500 units. He added that 250 unit estates have been completed in Benue, Katsina, Gombe, Yobe, Sokoto, and Nasarawa, bringing the total number of homes under construction in the region to 6,112. Pick up the Punch and read it. Federal government constructing 6,112 homes in the north. This is coming from the minister. From the Nation newspaper, NCAA suspends licenses of 2 value jet pilots over safety breach. The Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority has suspended the licenses of 2 value jet pilots, Captain Oluranti Ogoyi and the co-pilot, First Officer Ivan Oloba, with immediate effect. The NCAA explained that the pilots' licenses were suspended over safety breach at the domestic terminal of the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja. The authority stated that the suspension followed reports concerning a serious breach of aviation safety protocols by the pilots. The NCAA, in a statement by the Director of Public Affairs and Consumer Protection, Michael Achimugu, said the pilots' action endangered the safety of ground personnel and other airport users, contravening established civil aviation regulations and international safety standards, stating that the suspension will remain in place pending the conclusion of a full investigation into the incident. The NCAA reassured all stakeholders of its commitment to safety. Read up that story. NCAA suspends licenses of 2 value jet pilots over safety breach. And from the Punch, IG warns as 38 officers receive special promotions. The Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, has warned critics of the new promotion policy of the Nigerian Police Force as no fewer than 38 officers bagged special promotions. The officers were promoted under a newly introduced policy that grants accelerated promotion to recipients of the Police Officer of the Year award and those who earn consecutive commendations from the Inspector General. Social media was awash with criticisms of the promotion, as some critics said it was designed to favor a section of the country and a particular gender. There was also a report that the IG favored some inner circles while leaving other deserving officers hanging. Speaking during the decoration ceremony in Abuja on Tuesday, the IG, however, said the promotion was strictly on merit, adding that the process was rigorous and free from external influence. He said, and I quote, out of over 300,000 officers, only 38 met the stringent criteria for accelerated promotion. These officers did not lobby for favor. They let their work speak, and the institution has responded publicly, proudly, and with full institutional endorsement. The Nigeria Police Force has entered an era where honor is not hidden and excellence is not ignored. End of quote. He added that the portraits of the promoted officers would be displayed at the force headquarters and state command entrances as a mark of honor and encouragement. He also criticized he cautioned those criticizing the reforms, especially on social media, saying their actions would not stop the ongoing transformation of the force. 38 police officers received special promotions. IG gives out warnings. Pick up the Punch and read the rest of that story. All right, we turn back to the Punch and we have the story from Anambra State that says Anambra threatens crackdown on parties violating 50 million naira campaign fee rule. With the November 8th governorship election drawing near, the Anambra State Signage and Advertisement Agency has intensified its crackdown on political parties yet to comply with the mandatory 50 million naira campaign permit fee. The fee imposed by EBI-NLA grants political parties the right to erect billboards, posters, brand vehicles, hoist banners, and engage in other outdoor campaign activities across the state. Addressing journalists on Tuesday at the agency's headquarters in Oka, EBI-NLA Managing Director and Chief Executive Tony Ojubuonu revealed that only 5 out of the 16 registered political parties participating in the election have complied with the fee. According to him, the compliant parties include the Young Progressives Party, African Democratic Congress, Action Alliance, Labour Party, and the All Progressives Grand Alliance, with APGA being the most recent to fulfill the requirement on July 2. Jubuno, however, criticized several others, singling out one major party which he did not name for persistently violating EBI-NLA's regulations by engaging in unauthorized campaign activities despite repeated warnings. Anambra threatens crackdown on parties violating 50 million naira campaign fee rule. And still from the Punch, Lassa fever kills 155 in 7 months. The Nigerian Center for Disease Control and Prevention on Tuesday said Nigeria has recorded 155 deaths from Lassa fever from January 1 to July 20, 2025. The case fatality rate now stands at 18.9%, higher than the 17.1% recorded during the same period in 2024. As of Epidemiological Week 29, Nigeria has reported a total of 6,640 suspected cases and 822 confirmed cases across 21 states and 105 local government areas. According to the World Health Organization, Lassa fever is an acute viral illness caused by the Lassa virus. It is known to be endemic in Benin, Ghana, Guinea, Liberia, Mali, Nigeria, and Sierra Leone, but probably exists in other West African countries. The Global Health Body said that Lassa virus is primarily transmitted to humans via contact with food or household items contaminated with rodent urine and feces, and person-to-person transmission can occur, particularly in healthcare settings lacking adequate infection prevention and control measures. The NCDC also noted that the number of new confirmed cases in week 29 remained the same as in week 27, with fresh infections reported in Ondo and Edo states. Lassa fever kills 155 in 7 months. Okay, still serving you stories this morning. Let's get on into Vanguard newspaper, where it is reported Church of Nigeria formally cuts ties with Wales over lesbian archbishop. The Church of Nigerian Anglican Communion has officially cut all ties with the church in Wales following the appointment of Bishop Sherry Van, an openly lesbian cleric, as the 15th Archbishop of Wales. That decision was announced by the Primate of the Church of Nigeria, the Most Reverend Henry Undukuba, who described the development as an abomination and a serious departure from biblical truth. The announcement came during the opening session of the 14th Church of Nigeria Conference of Chancellors, Registrars and Legal Officers held on Tuesday at the Church's National Secretariat in Abuja. With a theme called As a Watchman, the event brought together legal minds from across the church to discuss matters of doctrinal integrity, justice, and governance. Primate Undukuba delivered a keynote address titled The Decade of the Reign of God, Progress, Challenges, and Prospects. Reacting to the church in Wales' elevation of a lesbian bishop, the primate said, "We reject the election of the Right Reverend Sherry Van as the Archbishop of Wales." He compared it to the 2003 consecration of Jean Robinson in the Episcopal Church USA, which had also led to Nigeria severing ties with that province. Primate Ndukuba also criticized what he described as the growing influence of revisionists teaching within the sections of the Western Church. Okay, the story is in the Vanguard. Read it up. Church of Nigeria formally cuts ties with Wales over lesbian Archbishop. It's in the Vanguard today. And this will be the last short on the show today. And it is from the Nation newspaper. It says government holds special Thanksgiving, praise against banditry attacks, threats to peace. The government and people of Katsina State yesterday in Katsina held a special Yamush Shukor Thanksgiving Day, which was designed to express gratitude to God for his countless blessings and continued guidance in the state, as well as pray against banditry and all manners of insecurity and threat to peace. The event, which brought together religious leaders, government officials, and community members, was held as a symbolic gesture of appreciation for the state's historical significance and the progress achieved in recent times. Secretary to the state government, Abdullahi Garba Faskari, represented Governor Diko Rada, commended the organizing committee and all stakeholders who contributed to the creation and continued development of Katsina State. All right, and with our story from Katsina, we wrap it up on today's edition of Newspaper Review. It's come to you from EBI-NLA Radio 102.3 FM at Doikiti. Remember, you can always join us on Newspaper Review and other programs that we have on the channel, even if you are out of our broadcast area, by linking up with us on social media. We are live on Facebook at EBI-NLA Radio 102.3 FM and also on YouTube, EBI-NLA Radio 102.3 FM. You can also listen to us from anywhere if you will log on to www.ebinlaradio.com.ng, ebinlaradio.com.ng. God willing, the program will return tomorrow. My colleagues will be here, and it will be another great ride with us on the show. Stay tuned to your super dial. My name is Oluwaseyi Ige. Thank you for listening.